Hello, welcome to Cozy Reviews. You suggest it, I review it, and welcome back to the Friday the 13th franchise review remastered. Today we are continuing this franchise review remastered by taking a look at Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood.
Dr. Cruz, you really think that we're doing the right thing, don't you?
We've done all we can do for her at the hospital. She just hasn't made enough progress. I know it's tough on both of you to come back. Trust me. I want you to concentrate. Think about your feelings and just focus them in on the matchbook. Maybe we can get it to move.
I can't. I told you I don't know how it happens. Sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't happen.
And you're lying to me. Concentrate. Concentrate!
What's happening to me?
So Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood, was released in 1988, and it takes place roughly 5 years after Friday the 13th Part 6. Yes, another time jump. What a surprise. Where in this film we're introduced to Tina, who is a girl with psychic powers who accidentally drowned her father 5 years ago. Years later, she returns to the site, wishing that she could bring her father back, but on accident resurrects Jason Voorhees, who immediately gets back to doing what he does best, which of course is gutting teenagers. However, this time Jason's met his match as Tina manages to use her psychic powers to fight back against the monster. This movie is a pretty good Friday the 13th movie. It's been considered the fan favorite of the series, and it's for good reason. It has more action and more supernatural stuff going on. There was some supernatural in the last movie with the whole Jason being resurrected as an undead killer. And this time, that gets extended, as Jason looks gnarly in this movie. The whole point of this film was to show all the damage Jason's had up to this point. His clothes are tattered, his skeleton's exposed through his skin, he has a chain around his neck, his mask is busted up, and when they show his face, he looks gnarly as hell. Of course, this is the first time Kane Hodder plays Jason Voorhees, who has been declared the pinnacle of Jason actors. He's the fan favorite, and for good reason. He plays a version of Jason that seems always pissed off about everything. The kills are pretty lame. Apparently, the MPAA was not being pleasant with this movie, and declared that they would get an X rating if they didn't tone down the violence. So that means all the impressive effects that the gore effect team did got cut. Which is pretty shitty, because they actually put a lot of effort into it. I mean, any gore effect puts a lot of effort into their work, and it always sucks when that ends up getting cut out of the movie. Especially since the gore in this film is pretty good. There's a scene where Jason crushes a dude's head, and you don't see anything. You just hear the sounds. But originally, he crushes it, basically flattens the dude's head. Then there's a scene where Jason kills Tina's douchey doctor by cutting him in half with a buzzsaw tool, and you see nothing. You just see Jason ramming it into his body and the doctor's face as he dies. But originally, they showed Jason cutting him open and guts flying everywhere. Okay, but the biggest one of all, it happens towards the end, which I'll get to that in a minute. Now, Tina's actually a pretty good character. She establishes that she's having psychic problems with this power she can't control, and also she seems to be going crazy, as she's always seeing visions of Jason killing people. Sometime, and of course that ends up being foreshadowing to when the person actually dies. However, all the other characters in the movie are kind of bland. There's the nerdy chick, there's the stoner dude, the redhead, there's the bitchy character, and of course there's the love interest for Tina, who's actually a pretty likable person. Then there's Tina's mother and Tina's psychiatrist, who just is a grade A dickhead. Halfway through for example, there's a scene where Tina sees a tent spike sticking out of her house because Jason had put it there. And when they go back, the tent spike is gone. There's only a hole where it's been. That's because the doctor removed it as a way to make Tina go, as to make it look like Tina has lost her mind, so he can send her right back to the mental institution. It also turns out that the doctor has been filming all the sessions with Tina, and actually is not at all interested in helping Tina. Just wants to expose her psychic power so he can become famous from this crazy girl with psychic abilities. Now, of course, it also doesn't help when other people find out that Tina's from mental ward and of course tease her for it, treating her like a lunatic. Alright. And there's a pretty epic fight scene between Tina and Jason, where Tina uses her psychic powers to throw shit at Jason, and he gets beat up pretty bad. For a majority of the fight, Jason goes maskless, and his face looks gnarly. You can actually see all the damage he's had up to this point. They are not afraid to show Jason's face, considering how much they do show it. However, the ending is kinda stupid. Of course, after Jason's annihilated everybody, except for Tina and her boyfriend, Tina sprays gasoline on Jason, which covers her house in gasoline. The house blows up with Jason on fire, which of course does nothing. Then Tina's dad pops out of the lake and drags Jason by a chain and drags him right back into the Crystal Lake. Originally, he was going to look all skeletal and decayed looking, but the producer apparently did not like that, so they decided to change it, and in the final movie, he's just a little wet and muddy. Well, for that said, Friday the 13th Part 7 is a pretty good Friday the 13th movie. It's my favorite, and it pretty much established Jason as an unstoppable force of nature. However, next time will be the time when the series starts spiraling right down the crapper. Until then, I'm Go the Reviewer, and I'll see you next time.